Okay, good morning, everyone. It is February 4th, 2017, and yeah, my hair is a hot mess. So I decided to comb out um, my locks that I've had for about 2 years and basically start over again. As you can see, if I can get in real close, these are my microlocs. I started doing these about 3 weeks ago. I think Tuesday coming will make the start of week 4 of me combing out my locks and reinstalling them as interlocked micro locks. It is taking a very, very, very long time, people. I mean, I did not know that my hair was literally locked up tight. And I'm just going to be showing you the stuff I've been using basically to get this whole process started. And I'm sorry if I'm not looking directly into the camera. I'm recording on my Kindle since my phone um, died an untimely death a few weeks back. So basically, I'm only using 3 things to take out my locks and go along with this whole process. As you can see, I've already done the majority of my head. I wanted to originally do a time lapse of every day where I was combing out locks and reinstalling them, but that was going to take too long. That would have been over 3 weeks of footage, and I can't do that to you guys and have like a 45 or an hour and a half long video of just time lapse of me combing and picking and all that stuff. So basically, what I have been using, 3 simple things. At first, I was only doing this on wet hair, but I noticed that the process just got really messy when I had wet hair while I was doing this whole process. So I kind of stopped spritzing my hair with water when it came to that portion. And basically what I've been using is this comb. This comb is the comb I've been using to fix the parts at the front of my head when I did my retwist for my comb coil locks. And basically what I would do is I would take my scissors and basically, let me see if I can find the one I started with already. I would take my lock and I noticed that at the very end it would have this little bump. So what I would do is I would just clip just above that bump, which is normally the hardest part to comb out. I don't even fool with this end since that's fused shut. I'm not hurting my head, okay, people? So I basically cut off the end, and the tools I have been using to basically pick out my locks is this needle. Hold on, there we go. Been using basically a tapestry needle to pick at the locks, and then once I get far enough up, I use the end of my rat tail comb to kind of finish picking out everything else, comb out all the loose hair, and then I've basically been taking them out row by row. This is one row here. This is the beginning of the row, and then this would be the end of the row here. Now, the thing is, when I got my locks started, it wasn't on a grid. My friend Cinders used C-parting to start my locks and everything, so I don't really mind that the grid isn't perfect. I'm not going for sister locks. I don't want it to be super perfect or anything like that. I just want to get it done, and I want everything to look neat, and I want everything to look, cohesive, basically the same size. The only thing I think I did slightly different was, if you look, these ones on the outer edge are only slightly, is that thread? I got thread in my hair. Oh gosh. Basically, the ones I have back here are slightly, just barely slightly thicker than the ones I have in the front, and that's just to make sure I have enough volume at the crown, at the hairline, sorry, so that it doesn't look too scalpy up front here. So it's only around my front edge, maybe the first 2 rows, and then the rest of them are kind of like a regular micro lock size. I don't want super tiny micro locks. I have absolutely no idea how many locks I have at this present time. I'm probably going to make that in another video where I tell you guys all that stuff. So what I'm basically going to do, excuse the noise, it's the garbage bag. I have all this hair that I've started combing out from just these, what was this, 3 locks. I've already gone through at least 4 full bags of loose shed hair, and it's not from breakage or anything like that. It's literally like me picking at the sections and as I loose out the entire lock, it's about this much loose hair in the entire bundle, and then I had 176 locks, so that's a lot of shed hair. Because from what I remember, you shed like 100 to 150 hairs per day, and I haven't been combing my hair for the past 2 years, 2+ years. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I have combed my hair. This comb was like $2. This thing has been giving a lot of overtime. So basically what ended up happening was I started at the very back. At the very, very back of my head. That was almost 4 weeks ago. I'm probably gonna have to retighten those once I get everything sorted out. But I started at the back few rows, and I basically still had my hair locked. I hadn't told anyone what I was doing just yet. I think I may have told one or two of my friends and my husband, but no one else knew. And then when I got up to about the halfway point of unloosing my locks, I had the locks in the back kind of like in uh, two loose twists, kind of loop them over each other and have my locks over the rest of it. And then as I got further and further up to the top of my head, it kind of got looking a little bit crazy where it's just like these thicker locks and then what looks like little tiny braids all over the rest of my head. It looked kind of jank and I didn't really like it at all. So what I ended up doing, since I'm still going to work through all this, and I do work in an environment where people have a uniform and we have to be presentable and we have to keep ourselves and all that stuff. You know, the usual whenever you're working on a regular day job where you will be seeing my customers possibly. Actually, I could be loosing these out while I talk. And what basically happened was I started watching this lady on YouTube. Her channel's called Wrapunzel Ladies. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And what I ended up doing was I utilized all the lovely pashminas and pretty scarves I have in my house, and I was basically just going and using as many of the wrap styles as I could until I got to about like up in here was the only section that was left to loose out and interlock. So one Saturday, me and my friend Bob spent like almost 6 hours combing out from this ear straight over of my locks. Thank God for her. I don't know anyone else who would sit by me and comb out my hair like that. I tried to commandeer a couple other people and family members, and they were like, oh heck to the nah. Too much work. Ain't doing it. And yeah, we got about this far. Now, basically, what I'm doing, let me see if I can get in real close. Sorry for the blurry camera quality. I'm not. Ooh, my eyebrows. Anyway, so basically, what I'm doing is I'm taking the pin and I'm just gently just picking at the bottom edge of the locked hair, and I'm just pulling downward towards the section that's already loose. Now I'm not going very high up in these sections because that's going to hurt. So I'm just barely going into the lock, kind of pushing it into the center and just kind of loosening things up. Now what I notice is when I first started my locks, the portion at the very end of my locks are very, very tight, but as I move up the shaft of the lock, especially with these ones in the front of my head as opposed to the back, the locks get a little bit looser in texture as I work my way up and it goes a little bit faster. Child, trying to take out the locks in the back, I think the very first lock I took out took an hour. And that was soaking it with conditioner, that was putting water on it, and that was after I washed my hair and was trying to do all this stuff. It took forever to take out that one, and by the time I took out the back row, I was right there trying to say, I'm gonna braid these together, I'm gonna two-strand twist them, and I'm gonna let them go back into the locks they were. I don't want to do this anymore. It was just ridiculous, guys, and oh my goodness. So during this whole process, it's been really hard on my hands. Like the primary fingers I've been using have been these 5. What about you? Well, these 6 fingers have been the ones that have been working the hardest. Yeah, these 6. I've got calluses all across these fingers from where it's been rubbing against the pin because I don't have any real styling tools at my house. So I've basically been using the tapestry needle for the majority of my hair, and the end of the rat tail comb. Once I got to the ones closer to the front, once I get past like this really tight, compacted end of my locks, I kind of been moving on like that. And I have to tell you, I had to take a week off. That whole section that me and my friend Cinders, combed out, I just took a week off from picking, and I just interlocked all of that section until I ran out of hair. Once I was done with those, I was like, okay, now I have the fortitude and the wherewithal to take out the rest of these. And I started this morning, I think around 9:45. It's almost 11 now. So I've taken out 3 locks or 4 locks in almost an hour, which is a lot better than when I first started. I think it was like 1 lock took an hour, and then as I moved to the middle of my head, 1 lock took, I don't know, 45 minutes. And as I've been getting to the top of my head, it started taking anywhere between 25 and 15 minutes. If I'm really focused, it could probably be 10 minutes. But I've kind of been working on this on and off, mostly after work. And we've been kind of busy lately. A lot of things have been going on in the office. And trying to take care of things at home. So it's kind of been a bit hectic, and I haven't been moving quite as quickly as I wanted to. I think the primary issue I've been having with this whole thing is with my self-confidence when it comes to the way I look dealing with these. Because for those of you who don't know, who are new to my channel, I've been married for about 3 years, and I kind of want to look nice for the man I married, because I don't like the idea of having my hair look flippin' crazy and having this guy stare up in my face and not feeling attractive because my hair isn't, sensible. I don't mind it being unstyled, but I don't like this nonsense with all the rubber bands and the different colors and stuff like that I've been doing to keep track of things on my head and trying to get my act together when it comes to my hair, you know what I mean? Let me know in the comments if you understand, if any of that made any sense. So yeah, basically that's been going on for the past 3 weeks, and I've been kind of going with life as normal. Now, I didn't want to do a video about this until I was done, but then I figured someone out there is probably thinking about combing out their locks to start smaller locks, or combing out their locks to do something else. And this is literally proof that you can do it and not have to cut all your hair off just to start over. Like, if you want to rock the loose natural hair, just look at that. All of that hair. Like, if you want to go back to loose natural hair, you can. It's going to take a lot of patience. And like I said, it took me, it's been almost a month and I'm still right here combing out. And another friend of mine, his name's Roger, he works with my friend Gigi Alpha, and he took a month to comb out his locks, and his locks were slightly thicker and a lot shorter than mine. And he just took it out. Like, he took one out, and then he would 2-strand twist the hair, and then he would take another one out, and he would 2-strand twist that hair. And then he just kind of rocked a fro for a while. And I think he's thinking about starting his locks over again because he misses them. And I kind of totally understand that, because this is the most my hair has been combed in 2.5 almost years. I am not a fan of combing my hair. I've never felt so tender-headed in the entire time that I've had locks than I have this past month. And I am excited and like just anxious for the day when I am done with all this. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. And I guess just to show you, okay, I got a whole bunch of loose hair in here, and just kind of gently ease all that shed hair out of the end of my lock. Now, I'm doing my hair while it's dry. I found that it's a lot easier, and the hair doesn't haul up on itself and make it difficult to comb out. So that's that section. And if this this is actually the section I've already done. I still got a good bit of length. These are the ones I've already done. This is just about, I guess just above my breastbone that it reaches when I stretch it. So I've got most of my length here. It was almost bra strap length with the shed hair and stuff, which I don't mind. It'll grow back. And everything like that. But I guess the most important thing that everyone's probably wondering while they're watching this video, and you're probably waiting for the explanation of why on God's green earth I decided to loose these out and start over. If you've been watching my lock journey, I have a playlist that I'm probably going to link in the description below in case anyone's curious of what this madness started out as. And yeah, I said that initially I wanted really, really small locks. For the longest, well, I've always wanted locks. I wanted locks since I was in 8th grade. That hadn't really changed as I gotten older, but the circumstances around my hair kind of made me hesitant to start locks. So when I originally started doing research on locks, the first thing I wanted was sister locks. Sister locks are heck of expensive. And those of you who know me and have seen my eBay and thrift store hauls, your girl cheap. She's not interested in spending a whole buttload of money on getting her hair done. She barely goes to the hairdresser now because she maintains her own locks. Special occasions and stuff like that, I'll get my hair done by a professional, but for the most part, I ain't on that run. So, fast forward to today, actually throughout this lock journey, where I would just see people with like micro locks and sister locks, and I'd be like, ooh, that's what I wanted from the beginning. But when I was getting my comb coils installed by my friend Cinders, also known as Bob, for the longest time I was debating what size I should get them, and we did them fairly small, as you can see. This is like a small, medium kind of comb coil lock, and it's not a bad size. It really isn't. It was very easy to maintain. It took a very short time for me to wash and retwist my hair. I think it took at most an hour and a half, and that was if I sat under the dryer or something. But as time went on, I kept thinking about having micro locks and sister locks and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, maybe I could try and sign up for the class and learn how to do sister locks. But then I found out that the class is almost $1,600, and I was like, okay, maybe that's not going to work. So the best next thing would be micro locks, which is basically small interlocks on a very, very small scale. And I liked the way they looked, and I liked the way they flowed, and it's kind of like having loose hair without having loose hair. Because if any of you used to watch my other videos from the time I started YouTube, between mini twists and micro braids, I used to put those in my hair all the time. And I really like the look, and I like the flow, and I like the softness of it. In fact, when I got married, I had my hair in mini twists and had that styled on my wedding day. So the basic reasoning is that I talked myself out of micro locks, the thing that I wanted. I'm very good at talking myself out of things that I want if it's going to be an inconvenience to someone, or I feel like it's going to be too expensive, or I feel like there's not enough time to get everything done. All of that normally factors into me talking myself out of something. And what I'm trying to do, this is not a New Year resolution, this is more like an ongoing thing that I'm busy trying to do, is listen to myself more when it comes to things I want and things I know I need. Okay, so this entire section is now combed out, and that is almost to my elbow. All of that is my loose natural hair. And I don't see very many split ends, and I don't see any real breakage or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to twist this with the rest of these children here so that it doesn't get in my way as I take out the next one. And if you could see the little bumps, that's from the C parting. where we did my first install of my locks 2 and some odd years ago. Good lord. So yeah, basically the process of me deciding to get my micro locks was me basically biting the bullet and saying, this is what you wanted from the beginning, why don't you just give yourself what you want, right? And that kind of resonates very deeply with me because I have this habit of doing things because I think they're convenient and they won't inconvenience others or inconvenience myself too much, and I settle, and I don't want to do that anymore. So, time to give everyone a miniature heart attack. Here's what I'm doing. You see this one here? What I'm going to do is basically this whole bump. I'm just going to get rid of all of that and just cut that off. And this is basically what I'll be working with to comb out. I got my pin, and I'm gonna go in and pick away at this lock. This is gonna take a long time. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing this for probably another day or so. Probably gonna watch the Super Bowl tomorrow and kind of keep this going. This car alarm though. Hopefully the audio quality on this video is good enough for you guys to hear everything that I'm saying despite the doggone car alarm in the background. And hopefully the next video will be me with my hair fully installed and retightened, because the back of my hair has been interlocked for the past 4 weeks and I already have almost an inch of new growth, which is really promising and I'm really excited about that. So I'm gonna take the rest of these out, I'm gonna interlock them and then retighten the very back rows that are kind of loose and slack from the couple of times I've washed them already since installing them. Okay? Yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are on combing out your locks, restarting your locks, or anything like that. Let me know if you've done that before. Let me know. I am very curious if there's anyone else who started their lock journey over a second time or a third time who subscribes to my channel. So let me know down below, and I'll leave links to all the YouTube channels I've talked about in this video, and hopefully I will be done with this before Valentine's Day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!